Oh, I'm angry today. Hang on a minute. Just all going wrong. Good morning, everybody. Sorry. I'm discussing internet and broadband speeds today because I am so peeved and annoyed at my 88 frigging pounds worth of Virgin internet that's supposed to give me 1 gig fibre and I'm getting 38 meg. Anyway, let's do... Well, that's not a good way to start, is it? Let's do the headline. So then, the growing concern over Brazil coronavirus variant. Researchers say the new variant could be contributing to soaring infections in Brazil's Amazonian states. I've got issues with my headphones as well. Insurers must pay small firms for lockdown losses. A Supreme Court ruling provides a lifeline for many firms that had business interruption insurance, and good for them. That needs to be sorted out. That was excellent. UK economy shrank in November amid lockdown. Coronavirus restrictions in England affected services, with pubs and hairdressers badly hit. And technical issues sees 150,000 police records lost. The Home Office says it is working to assess the impacts of the issues, which has now been resolved. Oh, great. New York City bendy bus has been drooping over an overpass. Several people were hurt as a bus plunged over an overpass in the Bronx area. There's some great pictures, which we might pull up in a bit. And just going back to that first headline, the Brazil COVID variant already in the UK, scientists say. The mutated form of the virus is thought to be more infectious than any other variant. Now, good morning, everybody. Let's just sort my headphones out first. It's just playing havoc with everything. What is going on here? Right, let's see if we can add people in. Cross your fingers, roll your dice. Starter for 10. Darren's in. Say hello, Darren.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is.
I can hear you. That's great. And Grant's in as well.
How are we doing, guys?
Hi.
Annoyed. I'm annoyed.
Mate, 38 meg. I'd bloody kill for 38 meg.
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask, am I freezing or anything, or am I pixelated?
38 megs loads, mate.
No, it isn't.
You're okay.
It's for 1 gig.
You're not going to freeze on 38 meg.
Oh.
Maybe if you're on 5.
Right,
but...
let me just tell you, as I said on Wednesday, this house is full of people now because people have come back home. We've got 4 people on Ethernet as we speak at the same time. Okay, that's fair enough. If we'd had 960 meg, which we were supposed to have, perfect. But not 38 meg.
Dealing with corporate customers who have internet into buildings like Interserve at the NEC, massive buildings that hold 1,200 people.
Here we go. Go on.
They have less than 500 meg. So how you're not working on 1 gig, I've no idea. When that whole building of 1,200 people used for their internet, 500
But
meg.
I haven't got 1 gig. I haven't got it. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
Last week, I've even shared my screen here. Right, so.
This is like the beginning of the old lockdown, isn't it? But times 10.
Right, so last week, I had 960 meg regular on my Ethernet. I know Wi-Fi is different, but Ethernet, 960 gig. Let's click go. Here we go. So I'm clicking go. Can you all see this? Yeah?
We can.
What the friggin' hell was that?
Keep it going. They do the upload. What people always confuse as well is what you're doing now isn't download. You're doing upload. If you were pixelated, it's because your upload speed, not because of your download.
This is
download. I know, but you're in this instance for pixelization, your upload is more important.
Oh, I know.
But
that.
yeah,
Yes, I'm fully aware of that. Yeah.
Look, me now. Look at that upload. That's mega.
Right. Okay. Yeah, the upload's great, but we have got everybody draining everything here. So I pay £88 a month for my internet because it's important, and you know I download a lot of stuff, upload a lot of stuff. But that's
all completely legitimate, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, I'm gonna hang a minute.
Matt, what's the price on the bottom of that mug? How much does that mug cost? Just seen the label a couple of times.
It's Le
Just got me
Creuset.
curious.
It's a Le
Is it
Creuset.
or is
So
it the
you know that
Creuset or Le
means-
Crusoe? Is it the Crusoe or
I
Le
don't know. I don't know how you pronounce it, but you
Le
know
Creuset.
what that means. It's nothing less than £15 for a mug, is it?
Absolutely, yeah. Don't drop it.
Posh he is, isn't he? Eh? He's posh.
Look at him. But that's expensive though. That's what he's drinking out of. So
I've got...
let's run some tests. So Grant, what speed do you have at your house?
I can tell you exactly. I'm on 30 meg.
Right, do a speed test. Let's see what you've got.
Do you want me to share my
You can't
screen?
No, well, you can do if you want. Oh, let me just turn mine off. Remove that. There we go. Can you share it?
Can I share it?
Darren, do you want to prep yourself? You know what I'm going to ask you as well, obviously, Darren.
Well, mine's a bit more difficult, to be honest. I've got 2 networks and I'm on the slower network, so I know what exactly it would be.
No, but do you know exactly what it'll be, though?
I do. I can put money on it. But I'll do it just to keep you happy.
Let's do it.
There you go.
It's an incentive.
28.6, 4.25.
Okay, that's cool because you pay for 30, so you're getting 28.
I pay for 40, but they say to expect 30. But I've only had the guy out yesterday. I had open reach in my house yesterday, so I this is close to my heart, Matt.
Well, just while Darren's doing his, so this issue's been happening since Wednesday because someone said I was pixelated, so I checked the speeds of everything, and it was atrocious. So rang up Virgin, an hour and 35 minutes. I was on hold.
Ooh.
To be told that they couldn't sort it out, they'd have to book an engineer, which is next week. Okay, fair enough. They are going to come out and look at it because it's the new Hub 4, and it's all that baloney. I'm very close to swearing today, and I haven't swore on this show ever. I'm just really annoyed, and but what's annoying is that I'm paying quite a high rate for a service I'm not getting.
Yeah, but it's
You're
the guarantee. Is that guarantee?
Oh, hello. Here we
Sorry,
go.
sorry, Darren.
Go on, Dan. You say first.
No, I thought there were guarantees. I thought there were guarantees with broadband. I don't know because I don't really
500.
work in that area,
Yeah.
but I thought, and that you'll be compensated if you don't get it. And what I've also noticed with Virgin, being a competitor, I don't really want to big them up. But on the flip side, my dad's with Virgin, and when he does have an issue, they tend to be able to get on that box quite quickly, and they tend to just throw boxes out in the post constantly. They just throw boxes out and send them off
Is
to
he
you.
frozen, or is that my end?
I can hear you.
So
Yeah,
I saw Darren go pixelated then with my Mega 30 meg.
I'm swapping.
So you were saying
Stop
I
it.
only heard up to your dad's ad Virgin, and then you stopped. Then what were you saying? Say it again. He's gone again.
I think that might be Darren's issue, mate. Because you look crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear.
And you do.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Darren
had the open reach guy out because Aaron's net kept dropping out, all sorts of issues. I've got to say, the guy was so helpful, really nice guy. He managed to, because we're obviously in a new house, so we're trying to get everything organised, and he was really, really helpful. He did some work he didn't need to. He routed the main box so that it's in the bedroom upstairs, so we can get the quickest route to the actual Wi-Fi. I've hardwired my Ethernet, so I'm on that 30 meg that I'm getting is the absolute max that I can get. That's what comes through. I'm on 29, you know. So, but what I did find out, frustratingly, is when I was at my old house, I paid for the best package they could give me, which wasn't what you have. It was like fiber optic or whatever. So I've moved over to a new house on the same contract, and the guy told me I'm on half the speed I could be. I could have 60. So, isn't it weird though? Do we really need it? Do we really need it?
Well, I do when I've got that many people on. I mean, you know, Catherine's doing online schooling. I've got Oliver's working from home. Joe's working from home as well, all on Ethernet, and also got all the PlayStation stuff plugged in the Ethernet as well. But they're not using that in the day. That just everybody's working. But it's all that. It's all the VoIP stuff that's going on because everybody's over, you know, doing the talking online and all that type of thing and answering calls routed via the call center. But I don't know what this issue is because if you look on Virgin, there's no issues for the area. So it's got to be a box issue. That's why they're sending an engineer out. What happened to you, Darren? Where did you go?
Well, it's I think you've completely jinxed me. See, I have two networks to go on your speed test. So I have a work network which is slow as anything, and it's 15 meg, and I think I was getting just under 13 meg of that 15 meg line. So that's pretty good payback, but the upload's really slow, but it's consistent. So what you're talking about, latency, and that's where we get all this clipping from. I tend to go on that slow network, one, because the rest of the house don't use it. So when Finn's on his PlayStation streaming PlayStation Now games, I don't get loads of latency issues. Not necessarily download or upload issues. It's just pure latency as the bulk of data's been moved. And then that very reliable network had died when you said, asked me about my network. So Finn's in bed, and so I've decided to jump on the house network now. So, but I've got from 15 meg, I've got 13 meg or just under, and from my 80 meg, I've only got about just under 40 meg. So not too good. But I don't really understand the guarantees. I know there's guarantees and you should get paid back. And I know that Virgin tend to throw boxes out at people. As soon as something goes wrong, they just go, send them a box.
Not this. No, they've changed. Because
Okay.
I've got in my wardrobe here in my office, I've got a stack of Virgin boxes, which because they send you a new one, don't collect the old one. But on this one, they collected the Hub 3, gave me the Hub 4, but I don't know what's going on. It's I'm going to find out from the engineer.
I'll tell you what, Matt. What you can do, mate, is just relax a little bit and just be grateful that Mark's not on the call. Because the conversation could really go round in circles.
Well, he's only just moved up to a wet piece of string for his.
Can I ask one technical question, Matt? Can I ask one technical question? Are you on Wi-Fi? Or are you both frozen?
No, I'm on Ethernet.
You're on Ethernet, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a clash of channels or anything like that.
It's not my first rodeo, mate. I know what I'm doing. Jeez, boys. But this moves on quickly, just as we're talking about this. And I know we don't get nerdy. I mean, I think me and Grant got nerdy a few months back, and we were told off about it. So, but I don't be nerdy. Yeah, well, Maz had a bit of a moan when we last time.
But the viewers loved it.
When we talk tech, people love it. Now, so. Oh God! Elon Musk's SpaceX. Is it Starlink? Is it? It is Starlink, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their internet system. So they're beta testing in the UK now, and that's getting with the latency issues are really small with it because they were worried about it. Dear listener, if you don't know what the Starlink system is, it is a network of satellites around the world, basically, that pumps down internet to the ground, and you have a little base station. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere, in the countryside or whenever, or in obviously clearly Dorridge at the moment, you can get really good fast broadband. And they're guaranteeing, and it's happening because I've seen a lot of YouTube videos, 130 meg with 0.7 latency, if whatever that means to anybody, from up in the sky. I mean,
you have to pay for it.
Yeah, you pay £499 for the kit, £499 for the kit, and I think it is £79 a month for the subscription. So it is expensive, but they guarantee it. There's no issues with it, and that's going to get better, Musk has said, because they're putting more satellites up there and also ramping it up because they haven't turned up the knob, as he said, at the moment. So that's 130 meg. That's impressive.
Better than what you've got.
Well, it is at the moment. So,
I'm not a great lover of satellite. I've had experience of satellite in the past, and there are latency issues. You've got to remember, you've got to go to a base station and back again.
0.7, 0.7, mate.
And also, there's the mind control stuff as well, isn't there? You got to be careful of that.
Yeah, of course there is that. You're going to wear a bit of tinfoil around your head. You'll be fine then.
Whilst we're on tech, I saw today. Well, it's a combination of business and tech, because I saw that obviously home working, and let's face it, with all these variants that are coming down, we ain't moving out of our four walls for a good long time. So home working becoming more and more prevalent. There's a guy who runs a little beauty company, selling beauty products online. He's got 7 staff in India, and he has this app, this bit of software, which takes screenshots of his staff at regular intervals. It records their keystrokes and their mouse movements. And the whole idea is so they're not shirking. And apparently this is something that's slowly been adopted by other companies that are having people working from home so they can keep tabs on their employees. That's going to be an interesting way for it.
I have heard about this. And one of our friends who around the corner, their daughter's working from home for a company at the moment, and they have to make sure there's a keystroke or a mouse movement every 15 minutes, and the system monitors it. So all they're doing is just keeps going in and keep moving the mouse.
I'm sure I could think of a little robotic something that could keep moving that mouse every 15 minutes.
Well, I'm thinking of a turntable just with
absolutely.
The mouse back and forth like that. That'd do it. But well, you shouldn't. That's rude. You shouldn't do that because that's.
But that really is Big Brother, though, isn't it? That's Big Brother because the whole thing.
Watching. I don't like the watching at home. That's a bit weird.
Well, for me, I don't know the benefit, and there's negatives. I've worked from home now for over 20 years with BT, and there are benefits, as in home care or just literally going switching off and getting your mind in something, or shooting on a Segway to the beach and coming back again, whatever there is. But the other side of that is you don't switch off. So my office is next to the living room. I'll come in and out of here constantly throughout the night. I'm constantly on emails. I'm on emails on my phones. And your day is stretched much, much further. So all these people that I think they originally thought that home working was an easy thing, actually it's quite hard because you don't have that physical boundary of being able to switch on and switch off. So mentally, you never, ever, and even on holiday, you do not switch off. My mobile phone is on constantly, partly because of my scale of role that I do. But yeah, I think there's that Big Brother stuff I'm not comfortable with because they somehow cake and eat it, isn't it?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think me and Grant spoke about this a few months back as well, about the home working, because obviously Grant's team, they are they in the office? No, they're not in the office, are they anymore?
No.
But you found you get more productivity out of them. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've definitely seen an uptake in productivity, and it's forced us to be more structured as well. So, there's a team meeting every day at a specific time that everybody joins. Yeah. And I think that if everybody's got tasks to do that are measured, absolutely, why would you need to be a big brother? If they're getting their job done, even if they don't move their mouse every 15 minutes, what do I care? If they're getting the work done, and everybody's pulling the weight, if especially in a business my size, when somebody's not pulling the weight. So maybe, I don't know whether the challenges that people face with much bigger businesses, I think it is easier for people to drop through the cracks in terms of their work ethic. And I don't always judge what other businesses do based on my experience, because I know different businesses have different challenges, and maybe some businesses are finding it really difficult to get their team to be productive working from home. Maybe they are. I'm certainly not.
No.
So I don't know.
I'm a great believer in job and knock. I think the old days when we used to do job and knock, I don't know if you know that term.
No, what's that then?
Job and knock off, basically. So when I used to work on the lifts, I used to work for a big company, Otis Lifts, or it was Express Lifts at the time. Yeah. And you'd have a set of jobs in the morning that you had to go out and do. So if you're on repairs, you wasn't doing sort of technical repairs, but you're doing physical repairs like changing ropes or gearboxes. They were costed up to customers, and you were given them tasks and given an allotted amount of time. So we always used to have a term called hoping for roping. So if you got a roping job and someone who was good at roping a lift, you'd get half a day for it, but you'd do it in an hour. So if you got two lifts in one block of flats or an office block, that was your day done. So come 11 o'clock, we were in the pub. The job got done. It was great, absolutely great. But that's called job and knock. The job was done. Everyone was happy. But what happened is these corporate companies want to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze that job. Now, to be fair, some of these jobs, we took some big risks. So if you changed a gearbox sheave, which is a big piece of kit, you'd wedge it with a crowbar and you'd have this lift hanging in midair and all this sort of good stuff. So you might have taken some very unethical health and safety risks that maybe not so good. But I do believe that if you task people up correctly and you're managing people correctly and they do that job and you're not asking unreasonable amounts of work, then absolutely let them manage how they do that in their own time. I think it's a great ethic. Job and knock, bin men or milkmen or postmen.
I must remember.
I must admit, my ideal scenario for sort of managing employees is that they're responsible for their own time. And I did try this for some time in one of my businesses, and where I got inspired by Netflix way before everybody knew what Netflix was, their founders put in some really innovative work scenarios. So when they first recruited, they actually said, there's no holiday other than you decide, it's up to you. And they recruited by paying above the top of the market price for a given role. And the ethos was, you do the job. It's up to you when you do it and how you do it. But if you don't perform, you're gone. That's it. But you can take as much holiday as you like or as little holiday as you like. And it was all about recruiting A players, maintaining them, and just getting the very best people. And so I implemented it at my business. I had about sort of 10 employees at the time. And I basically said, right, we're scrapping holidays. You all manage your own time, and you take as many holidays as you like. The rough guide is what you used to have, you know. But the only caveat that I put in is I didn't want people to take longer than 2 weeks off in one go, unless it was exceptional circumstances, like somebody got married and they wanted a bit longer and that sort of stuff. And you know what? It was nobody took the mick. You know, nobody took. And I think if you've got the right people that are all committed, you know, the chances are they'll probably take less holiday as a result.
I think this is down to how the management run things as well. I think how it's structured, and you know, like Darren was just saying, you know, you're given certain jobs to do, and once they're completed, they're completed. You know, if they're not done, as Grant, you know, already said, he knows when somebody's not working at 100% because the job's not done, or it takes a bit longer, or whatever. So I think don't blame the staff as much, but I think the management role is equally as important to make sure you're just managing the people correctly. That's how I feel. Anyway.
It's the hardest job in a business, managing people. The hardest job.
No, it's
you know, it's even more difficult working remotely. You know, because you don't know what people are doing. You know, day to day, and I tell you, I found it most difficult in these lockdowns is when you've got new recruits. So we've recruited probably 3 or 4 people last year, and because you know, it's so much easier to train somebody when you're sat next to them. It really is. And so, you know, and it is so much easier to embed somebody into the culture of the business and, you know, get them to understand what they're doing when you're with them more. I have found that challenging. I think it definitely takes longer to get somebody trained up and up to speed.
Right.
I agree, and I think also, I think when you have that face-to-face contact, you're less likely to be a keyboard warrior or be as abrupt or you know, you see it all the time. You see these keyboard warriors, but the reality is, when I have help desks, when I've had, like, I used to look after New Look or Debenhams, or let's face it, all these companies are going out of business. But I used to, John Lewis is another one, seems to be following me around. But when you have help desk to help desk situations, the best thing you can do is get them 2 help desks to meet, because what tends to happen is they're very much us and them until they meet. And once they meet, they're best of friends in the same war. But up to that point, this is where we do need that balance, that balance of social interaction. It makes a world of difference, really does. But on that note of holiday as well, I just brought back, and I don't know if we discussed it in lockdown 1, but it brought back, which might be discussed again shortly, is the furlough versus take some holiday in furlough time. And I just wonder if that's going to raise its head again. I'm an agreeer of it. I sort of think that if someone's on furlough for 9 months and then come back after 9 months and then decide, but I've got 6 weeks holiday still left, thinking, hold on, you just had 9 months off. Let's think of the business. I do think that might come up again, you know, and I know that some of the people I know working in other businesses were asked to take holiday whilst they're on furlough. And I don't disagree with it, if I'm honest. It's a bit contentious, but
well, you can't go anywhere. I suppose that's the main argument, is that you can't go on holiday.
Shouldn't it? Surely it should just be pro rata, shouldn't it? If you have 6 months on furlough, the 6 month holiday that would have been allocated to that should be included in that furlough.
Yeah, good.
That seems to be an absolute no brainer. Anybody, I did have that happen, you know, with don't know whether I should be saying this, but I had somebody who was on maternity leave, and they were on maternity leave for like a year or something like that.
Yeah.
When they came back, the first thing they did was took their holiday that they'd accrued whilst they were on maternity leave. And I'm like, hang on a minute, that doesn't, but apparently that's the way it works.
It's legal.
I'm like, for Christ's sake, guys, I do feel sorry for us employees sometimes. We get booted from every single side of the bloody,
Keep them all self-employed, mate. Keep them all self-employed. That's the key. That's my key.
I had the extremity of that. I had a head teacher that was he was underperforming massively. So I was chair of a multi-academy trust at the time, and this head teacher was just absolutely appalling, letting children down left, right, and centre. And in the end, he was under 6 or 7 different procedures, from capability to ill health to grievances and all good stuff, even to having things on his laptop he shouldn't have done. So he's under many capabilities, and he just kept going off sick. And it took 3 years. That guy was so protected. It took 3 years to sack that guy. And even to the day that we went to court to sack him, they did a deal out of court. And it was so protected, but the impact to them children was just immense. And even to the point where I was turning up whilst doing my day job, which was at the time was really difficult, and opening the school and running the school as a head. I was literally, there was no head teacher. The county was sending nobody in. And they were just so protected. But you're right, the employee protection side can be, it's a good thing, don't get me wrong. But on the flip side, it can be so, all for the wrong reasons, and people really can find the loopholes and work their way through it.
I don't know, it seems to me that a lot of the extremities of the employee protection kind of assumes that you're already a bad employer, Yeah. And it kind of comes at it from that angle. Now, I'm sure historically there must have been loads of bad employers that meant that they had to do this. And obviously we touched on this when you were saying about, the monitoring of staff, like the big brother thing, which is kind of like the other way. It's assuming the employee is a bad employee, which there's no trust there then, is there? And that's, that can't be good. But there must, I think there has to be this balance. You've got to, the employers are the ones that keep the economy going. They're the ones that employ the people, that give them jobs, that pay their wages. That actually that inspire the growth and take the risk as well. The employers are the ones that take the risk. And I think a lot of the time they come at it from the point of view that the employer is the bad guy, and that the poor little employee is the one that needs protecting from the big bad employer. Where, from my perspective, the employer's the good guy. They're good. They're the one that's providing the jobs, that putting their balls on the line to keep the business going, take the risks.
I don't think we have a choice. I mean, it's funny because looking at what I said there about Big Brother, and I don't like it. The reality is, and it's been around forever. So if you go in most shops now, you'll look behind the tills, and there's cameras down on the tills already, and people can dial. Even chip shops, whatever shop you go into, most people now have got some sort of CCTV, not to protect the employee, as in, we don't want anything kicking off and we want to go capture it. It's actually to look over the tills. And even looking at some of the sites I'm setting up now, because I'm going to be remotely managing them that are 50, 60 miles away, my debate is, let's stick some cameras in. Let's stick a camera on top of the containers so we can see the tours happening. So I'm sort of gamekeeper turn poacher to game. I can't remember what's the term.
I agree with you fully, because the issue I had, when I had the few bars I had and the pubs and stuff, we put cameras in all those because we had 2 or 3 pubs at the same time, and we were monitoring them all. But some of the staff kicked off about them. Said, "Well, you're watching us." I went, "Well, if you're not doing it wrong, what are you worried about? It's only if you're doing something wrong that if we're going to pick up on it. But it's that Big Brother thing, and a lot. It is
hard. It's a difficult balance, isn't it?
Difficult. Right. Well, okay, then, people. That's it, Darren. Stop talking.
Blimey, sorry.
Just want to see what everybody's doing for the weekend.
Actually,
just before. What? Sorry. What's that?
He's strict, isn't he?
I am. Half an hour. You've got to do half an hour because it's my Twitch feed. I have to do half an hour, or they get angry if I go over it because I've got a set link for it. Anyway, so Darren, quickly, I'm going to ask you when you're working in the lifts, because I'm not a massive fan of lifts. Okay. and I'll get very scared. And it's my family love it to jump up and down in the lift when I'm in it. All right? Has a lift ever dropped and failed?
No.
Oh.
No, rare. You know, I think I'm trying to think when
rarely,
there was an instance, but I can't ever think of an instance. Tracy's dad's been in the lift industry for over 40 years. What does happen is they might go up and down with where the doors are open, where the locks have failed.
No.
So you might get yourself cut in half. And if you are going to jump up and down the lift, jump up and down on the way up. It won't stop. If you jump up and down on the way down, there's something called an overspeed governor, and that will bite into the guides and stop you, and take you a while to get out as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
You can, just to give you a little bit of tip, I can go and cut all 4 ropes on a lift, and it still won't fall out of the sky because the overspeed governor will then bite into the guides and stop you dying. So you'll be all right.
The worst lift I ever went on, and the only reason I don't like lifts, sorry to blunt on about this, is that not so much the lift itself, it's the height. And I know in my head how high I'm going. In the Chrysler building when I visited New York, their lifts have all got glass ceilings. No, I don't want to see that when I'm going up because if they're huge. No, don't want to see that. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
I'll give you a funny story on Monday about lifts, and glass ones. So we've got more time.
Go on. You've got 2 minutes.
The Rag and Co solicitors in Birmingham, Carmel Row.
Oh yeah.
They were some of the first people to have glass lifts, and basically it's like the ITM building. So you've got glass offices all the way around, and then you've got a glass lift in the middle. And when I was learning an apprentice on the lifts, you stand on top of lifts and you drive them up and down. You peer over the edge, and you're 100 foot up in the air, just peering over the edge, looking all manly and cool. No. And so then I decided to buckle myself. You have a harness. I buckled myself on the harness on the RSJ above me at the top of the shaft, and I'm on top of the lift. And I could see everybody looking at me, all cool, just hanging over the edge, and everyone's going, "Oh, it's going to fall," and all this sort of stuff. Absolutely posing. I decided then to drive the lift down. There's 2 buttons. You drive the lift down on top of the lift, forgetting I was actually harnessed to the bar that's fixed to the roof. So then as it went down, the lift carried on down with my arm, and I was just spinning sideways like this. And all these people, hundreds of people watching me in his office thinking, he doesn't look so cool now. It took about 40 minutes before my mate got back to be able to then come bring the lift back up to me. I was just hanging there spinning for ages. So,
how far did it go down below you?
Only arm's length. But the buttons went out of my reach to be able to drive it back up. Yeah, I have to press. I'm reaching down here for some reason. You can't see, but yeah, I have to press. You have to press 2 buttons to be able to drive the lift.
Wow.
Because I was speeding, I couldn't get that.
That's the terrifying story. That just makes the back of my knees go.
Yeah.
Anyway, wonderful. So, what are we doing for the weekend, people? Darren, what are you up to?
Bugger all. Absolutely bugger all.
Brilliant. Grant, what are you doing? Hopefully he's going to say he's watching One Division.
Yes, and painting ceilings.
Oh, you love painting as well? No,
I do not.
No, he hates it.
What you do, Matt?
Whilst listening to Clubhouse.
Clubhouse? Oh, right, I can't get into it.
I love it.
It's just random.
It's awesome. Best social media ever.
I need to host a room. I think that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
I had to flick around it, but anyway, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah,
obviously, I'm just doing that as ever. So that's me at 7:00 this evening, and One Division on Disney Plus.
When's that out today? Isn't it?
It's out today. Yeah. There was supposed to be a watch party.
Forward to that one.
Yeah, it looks very random.
Does look weird.
We'll talk about it next week.
I've no idea what you're both talking about.
That's brilliant. It's all right.
You know what? Just quickly, Matt. That reminds me. You said about that bus in New York.
Oh yeah.
You just need to get Spider-Man to sort that out, mate.
He should have. Yeah, he should have done a web down and pulled it back up. Excellent. Okay, then, people, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
And you.
Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.